All right, this is it. Alexander the Great smashes the Persians, okay? So first of all, in our last episode, the King of Kings reached out to Alexander the Great and said, "Hey, listen, I'll give you half my empire if you just go away." And Alexander said, "No." He said, "I'm taking it all." Well, we'll see how this happens, but something tells me that somewhere down the road, things ain't going to be looking too cash money for Alexander the Great, but we'll worry about that next time. But right now, let's get ready to boot up and suit up and check out this whole awesome show. Epic history. Alexander smashes, no pun intended, the Persians.
In 334 BC, Alexander, 21-year-old ruler of the small Greek kingdom of Macedonia, led an invasion of the vast Persian Empire. It seemed impossible odds. But thanks to Greek military dominance and Alexander's fearless leadership, he won two great battles against the Persians, at the river Granicus and at Issus. Having subdued Persian lands west of the Euphrates River, he now headed east into the empire's heartlands, seeking a final showdown with the Persian king, Darius III. Receiving news that a great Persian army led by Darius had assembled at Gaugamela, near modern Mosul in Iraq, he made
Hey, Iraq, I've been there twice. No, really, I've been there twice.
straight for it. This was Darius's last chance to stop Alexander, and Alexander's chance to smash Persian power once and for all.
Now, this was done really good in the film by Oliver Stone, Alexander.
Darius had chosen to fight on open ground, where his advantage in numbers would be more telling. His soldiers had also worked hard to clear and flatten the terrain, to make it suitable for Persian war chariots. By modern estimates, the Persian army was between 50 and 80,000 strong, and made up of contingents from across the empire. Infantry from Syria and Babylonia.
Okay.
Cavalry from Armenia, India, and Central Asia. Up to 200 scythed chariots. Even a handful of war elephants. Alexander's army was smaller, and may have been outnumbered by as much as 2 to 1. He deployed his units in their usual formation. On the left flank, Thracian and Thessalian cavalry, commanded by Parmenion. In the centre, the Macedonian veterans of the phalanx, each armed with their 18-foot sarissa pike. On the right flank, Alexander with his elite cavalry, the companions, and his best infantry, the hypaspists. These were the units with which Alexander planned to launch his main attack. Greek hoplites formed a second line and supported both wings, which were angled back to guard against encirclement by the Persians.
Already I could hear the wheezing of the computer, just like, oh my god, I gotta process all this information.
The battle began when Alexander led his wing out to the right, a move that took the Persians by surprise. Could Alexander really be trying to encircle their huge army? The Persians mirrored his movement, taking troops away from their centre to outflank Alexander and prevent him leaving the area they'd cleared for the Persian chariots. But Alexander's unusual maneuver was a trap. to entice the Persians to weaken their centre. When he saw that it had worked, he ordered his Greek cavalry to charge, to keep the Persians fixed in position.
Oh, okay, come on.
A giant cavalry battle developed on the right wing. Darius, meanwhile, judging this to be the decisive moment, unleashed his chariots. But expert Agrianes javelin throwers took out horses and crews, while the Greek infantry opened lanes, allowing the chariots to pass harmlessly through.
Oh.
Now Alexander led his companion cavalry and parts of the Macedonian phalanx in a headlong charge, straight at the weakened Persian centre, fighting his way towards Darius himself. The sudden ferocity of Alexander's assault threw the Persians into panic. The centre of the army broke and ran.
Where are the immortals? We'll put their name to the test.
King Darius himself leading the rout.
Where are you running?
But Alexander's left wing was in serious trouble. Parmenion, facing a huge onslaught by Persian cavalry, was virtually surrounded. Indian and Scythian horsemen had even ridden through a gap in the Greek line. But rather than wheeling and attacking the Greeks from behind, they'd carried straight on to loot their camp. Parmenion sent a desperate appeal to Alexander for help. The king abandoned his pursuit of Darius, regrouped, and charged the Persian right wing.
Come on, get there!
It was the hardest and bloodiest fighting of the battle, claiming the lives of 60 of Alexander's companions. Finally, as news of Darius's flight spread across the battlefield, the last Persian horseman turned and fled. The Battle of Gaugamela was a stunning and complete victory for Alexander. According to ancient sources, he lost just a few hundred men, while the Persians lost thousands. Alexander had routed Darius's great army. And now the road to Babylon, the empire's main capital, lay open. The Macedonian king entered the great city in triumph, recognized by Persian officials as its new rightful ruler. So too at the city of Susa, where Alexander ceremonially took his seat upon the royal throne of Persia. In the Zagros Mountains, at a pass known as the Persian Gates, a courageous Persian force held up Alexander's army for a month.
Really?
The Greeks eventually found a mountain path that bypassed.
Hey, very similar to the 300. How interesting that the forces once sent to face off against Leonidas now had their own pathway, and that there was a goat path or some pathway that destroyed them too.
Their position, allowing them to encircle and wipe out the defenders. In early 330 BC, Alexander reached Persepolis, the empire's ceremonial capital. Alexander wanted to appear as a liberator to the Persians, as a legitimate successor to King Darius. But now he ordered Persepolis to be pillaged and burnt. Retribution for the Persian invasion of Greece and the burning of Athens' sacred temples in 480 BC.
I know what that's gonna do. That happened like 100 years ago. No one was alive then.
Alexander now headed north into Media, where Darius had taken refuge in the royal city of Ecbatana. Alexander was determined to capture Darius, but the fugitive king fled east, in the hope of raising a new army in the provinces of Parthia, Bactria, and Sogdia. It was not to be. As Alexander closed in, the Persian king was murdered by one of his own governors, Bessus, who then proclaimed himself the empire's new ruler.
And Alexander was like, oh, really?
Alexander gave orders for Darius to be buried in the royal tombs of Persepolis, alongside his ancestors. Then he paused to organize his vast new empire. Alexander appointed viceroys to rule the provinces on his behalf, keeping several Persians who had sworn loyalty in their posts. Then he resumed his march east, his goal to find and kill the usurper Bessus, subjugate the empire's eastern provinces, and reach the far edge of the world.
That's pretty kick-ass right there.
Research and artwork for this video comes from Osprey Publishing's extensive range of books on ancient history. Every Osprey book examines a particular battle, campaign, or combat unit in authoritative, meticulous detail. And with more than 3,000 titles, they cover everything from ancient warfare to modern conflict. Visit their website to see their online catalogue. Thank you to all the Patreon supporters who made.
All right. First of all, shout out to Epic History. Everyone, please support the original content creator. It's the right thing to do. It's the one thing to do. And I expect all of you to do it, you lovely, outstanding, beautiful people. But, okay, the Battle of Gaugamela, Alexander the Great, the only general to conquer a major faction, was just one doomstack. There you go. So for my Total War fans, you know what I'm referencing. But, whoa! Awesome. 10 out of 10. Great. Awesome. And I mean, awesome blossom video about Alexander the Great. If there are other series you guys want us to check out here for Americans Learned, hey, give us some feedback. We got a Discord. We have our Chicanime page. And here's hoping that, well, February, the cold months is over, and now we're entering the warm spring months of March. Well, we're not done yet with February, but very soon we will be. So give us your feedback, your thoughts. Your feedback is fundamentally important. And without further ado, I bid you all farewell, but something tells me there's a pain in my heart that the next episode will be very, 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 very sad for Alexander the Great. I hope I'm wrong. I ever do hope I am.